we are talking about Starfield. And I have two words: ambitious and overwhelmed. So I've watched all the showcases, I've watched all the trailers, and the funny thing about this, right? When I first saw this kind of come live, I was like, this is going to be exactly what I wanted from a game that came out a very long time ago and did not deliver. Do you know what game I'm talking about? No Man's Sky. Exactly.
And I have a lot of things to say about this, but this trailer's old. They did a huge showcase of the gameplay on the Xbox showcase on
Yeah, they
Sunday?
closed with it. It was like
So,
45 minutes, right? It was a massive
yeah,
showcase.
Yep. So it's made by Bethesda, and just like from the beginning, you just look at it, you're like, tons and tons of content that can come from this, and they say it's 25 years in the making, so they've been working on this for a very long time.
We're gonna talk here in a bit about everything that you could do in this game, but if that holds true, yeah, 25 years in the making seems like an accurate representation.
Almost not enough time. Yeah,
I mean, visually it looks stunning. I'm a space guy,
Right.
as you guys can probably tell by like my spacey kind of nerdy background here. Like I'm a huge space fanatic. Like I eat that stuff up. So like I'm super excited about this. And visually it looks great. And I have
and just the environments it's huge. Like there's gonna be so much you can do. It's like you said, almost overwhelming. There's gonna be a storyline to it. There's different.
There's
cool.
different galaxies,
So cool.
there's different planets, there's different cities, there's different like civilizations within the cities. Like it's basically
And as you can see here, you can jump between different solar systems and
see, like that looks so raw.
yeah. And I think the biggest thing is you're gonna have to search for artifacts. That's gonna be part of the story. To search for artifacts and all this and stuff. The melee, the mechanics of the game just seem super cool. You can play in third person or first person.
I love that because I'm not really much of a first person kind of guy. So I wouldn't, like when a game comes along and it's only first person, I'm kind of like, but you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can switch.
And I think you can jump into it back and forth like whenever you want to.
I'm probably gonna set that bad boy in third person and never touch it ever again. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, like the environments look great, guys. If you guys are just kind of if you're just listening on the Spotify or whatever, it's basically showing you this just plethora of environments. I mean, we're shooting through space, we're going through different galaxies onto different planets. We're seeing all this different integration of like foliage and wildlife and different types of cities on each of these things. So I mean, this is like, it is literally gigantic, the amount of stuff that could be in this game. And much like Adam said, so the storyline behind this game is you are a space explorer, and you're kind of like joining up with this space explorer group. And it seems that as the game loads up, you are awoken and you find this very strange artifact, and the remaining part of the game will be to search the universe in search of the other parts of this artifact. Like the artifact that you find is part of a set of artifacts that you need to collect, and you need to travel through the universe and try to find the entire set.
Right. And the coolest thing about this game, kind of as Dave said, there's over 1,000 worlds.
There is over 1,000 different planets that you can travel to, and we'll touch on that. We'll touch on that in a second. Adam is obviously very excited about this, so I wanted to go ahead and get out all your love real quick before I drop my butt.
All right, so just kind of going into like talking about the gameplay a little bit. Like I said, this game is supposed to be huge. You can make it whatever you want. I kind of go into the Star Wars, like it's everything you'd want in a Star Wars game. Now this is anything you'd want in a space exploration game. Tenfold, like supposedly tenfold. Like it's going to be as much it's gonna have everything you want in a space game. Sorry, it's overwhelming,
Literally,
kind of like Dave said.
yeah,
It's hard
literally
to
overwhelming.
put it into words. So you'll get your own ship, which you actually get multiple ships. You can buy a ship, you can customize the ship, you can upgrade the ship, you can hire a crew, and that's like just the start. And then like kind of going off the ship in space, you have dogfights, and you to really attack the other ships, you have to like allocate power certain ways. So like your blasters and your shields kind of combat, or you can allocate the power to make you fly faster. It's super cool. There's tons of stuff. The character customization is in depth, but the way they showed it and explained it, it's in depth but very simple. At the same
everybody
time,
was
which is
kind of
really
raving
cool.
on the character creation, and I didn't really see.
Yeah.
Also, like, I'm not a big character creator, and I don't know if you are. I know some people really love to, like, really get in there and try to make it look like themselves, but I kind of just, I'm that guy
Yeah.
that's kind of like, give me preset B, and you know what I mean, like, let's start this game, you know what I mean. So the
Yeah.
character creation didn't do too much
And
for me, but I mean, it's cool that it's in there. It's cool that it's in there for people that like it.
right, and kind of just going off a little bit more is, I think you're gonna find that you can probably get to what, like, you like the presets, but I think you're gonna be able to find in this the way they made the morphing system, because like it's a bunch of sliders that you have to do, like in a whole bunch of other games. I think this is gonna be more so it's like you can blend easier. Like it's not gonna be so many different little segments. I think it's kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's kind of you don't have to go to subsystem or sub menus to get all this. I think it's gonna be much easier in that aspect. Your character, you'll be able to have like a different backstory that can help you in different ways of the game. And it's just so big. And you'll have the skill system, which there's 5 skill trees and 4 skills per the tree. You upgrade it by completing different challenges, and I don't know where else to go. I mean, it's so much to talk about in this game. It's super
ambitious, very ambitious and overwhelming. And guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna break the podcast rule here, and I actually I actually do take notes. And this game, honestly, there's so much about this game that I literally kind of just, I'm gonna do like a quick run through, but I actually have to kind of read my notes because that's how much is in this game that you will literally forget everything. So like Adam said, you are a space explorer. You wake up, you find a strange artifact. You join this explorer faction, and your goal here is going to be to find the remaining sets of these artifacts. And I relate this story a lot to like Ready Player One, where you're trying to find the keys, like something like that. So that's it's kind of like a galaxy-wide scavenger hunt is like kind of what you're going on here. And the main system that you're going to be working with is the star map, which is this gigantic star. This is like your hub of like how you travel around, right? And so within the map, you can fade this map all the way out to like universe size. So you're going to see different galaxies, and then you can zoom in and you can see different planets within the galaxies. And then you can pick a planet and you can zoom in on the planet, and you can see these different civilizations that are all throughout the planet and like figure out where you want to go. And the city diversity that we've seen so far does look really, really cool. So like these cities, I'm hoping for the most part have their own kind of like their own feels and their own vibes to them. Like they were showing in some of the gameplay, they have like a Wild West like kind of city. They have like a like a space cowboy city. They have like a cyberpunk kind of vibe where it's like neons everywhere and stuff like that. And they have like just very densely populated by like quote unquote animals. Like there's not a lot of like human civilization. It's just a lot of forests and stuff like that. So it is a diverse thing. And like Adam said, there's going to be over 1,000 planets that you can kind of jump to and jump around in all these galaxies. And thus, because the travel is so extensive, another part of this game is you can build outposts. And outposts are basically like, from what I've gathered in my research, it's like you can build home bases on all of these different planets. And then when it comes to hiring your crew and stuff like that, like you're going to be able to bring people into this story with you. You're going to have like your gameplay character kind of buddies that are always kind of with you, but you're also going to be able to just pick up like crew members, and you can assign those crew members of like do you want them to go to the outpost? Do you want them to be on this ship? Do you want them to accompany you on the ship that you're boarding? So I mean, this game is this game is basically like galactic business to me. Like that's
Yeah,
kind of what it like
basically,
feels
yeah.
like to me, is like you are running like a galactic business. Because these outposts, you like the outposts, from what we've seen in the outpost builder, almost looks like a mini version of like a Sim City, right? So you're like building these
Yeah. Yep.
outposts, you're having these quote unquote crew members, which are like your occupants, and you need to have them take care of the facility and stuff like that while you're gone. I mean, it's just a lot. You can do weapon modding.
Yeah.
The one thing that I thought was really cool is they did say that the gravity field on each planet is gonna be
Yeah.
different.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
gonna
so it
affect the
will affect
weapons. Yep.
everything. It's gonna affect how you move. It's gonna affect
Yep.
how the gun works. It's gonna affect like, if you want to think of just like the most realistic like kind of galaxy simulator that you could possibly think of, I think that's what they're
Yeah.
going for this with this game. And like I'm super
Yeah.
excited for it, because this is the exact game that I thought I was getting when No Man's Sky dropped years ago. And we all know how that went down. You like that game was just a horrendous pile of garbage. We were literally lied to. Like they literally lied to us about all the things that they said like you'd be able to do in this game. And like I think Starfield is the No Man's Sky that everybody wanted that nobody got.
And so that's another thing I've been seeing a lot of. People are trying to compare it to No Man's Sky a little too much. I think this game though is going to have its own identity compared
Do
to
you
No
think?
Man's Sky. I think I do. I think that because No Man's Sky is kind of just you go out there and play, right? Like it doesn't really have the storyline. I only played for a little bit because I thought it was bad. I played it for a few hours. Like I don't want to play this anymore. I feel like this one has a more storyline to it. It has more characters. It has like it's got all that to it. It's got different mechanics in terms of like the first person shooter, third person shooter. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, I 100% agree with you, because I picked up No Man's Sky on drop, like release day drop. I picked it up
Yeah.
because I was that excited about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, what No Man's Sky really needed was a storyline. I mean, that game
Yeah.
literally just dropped you in. And like, I say this all the time. Like I'm a Souls player, so I'm used to just being like dropped into a game and it's like nothing. You have no explanation. It's just like go, right? So like and
Right.
figure everything out on your own. So
own.
I'm used to that. But for that specific game type, it just like it didn't work. I feel like in a game that has this much going on, you need a little bit of like direction. You need a little bit of
Guidance.
guidance, right? It's just it
Yep.
like, going back to the overwhelming thing, like it's just too much for you to just be like, I'll figure it all
Hmm.
out. Like you're not like the best gamers in the world could not figure out everything, like everything. You know what I mean? It's just too crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, it should be really cool.
And yeah, I'm super excited. Now kind of going off of, like how we said Star Wars is okay to be
Mhm.
a single player game. This is a game I wish what had multiplayer.
I Go ahead.
And I'll
Yeah,
tell
go
you
ahead.
why. I'll tell you why. Because it's so big. This game is so big, 1,000 worlds, whatever. You can travel all of them. Yeah, you have the NPCs, but I feel like it's gonna get lonely. You're flying through all these planets. You're doing all this. Like, how cool would it be? Like, hey, Dave, I want you to jump into this world with me, and we're gonna just go destroy people and start doing some pirating. Like that to me, that's cool. This is a game I think that should have
It would
multiplayer. In my
it
opinion,
would be amazing. And I 100% agree
yeah,
with you. It's a game that definitely has a multiplayer feel to it where it would succeed and it would be a lot of fun. And I
yep,
think this is where having this much stuff into the game has really hurt them, because to be able to do
yep.
everything that you can do in this game and have this world be this massive, and then also have an online server where all of these people, it's just not,
It's
I don't think it's fathomable.
yeah. I don't think right now. I don't think it's like the technology isn't there to have such a capable cloud server. I think it's too big, especially like let's say like you and I are traveling together and we're like, hey, let's go to this world, and then so really we're server jumping
Right.
to a different world, and you'd have to have thousands on thousands of world like servers because yeah, you're on one server, but how many people
Right.
are in that world? So I understand why they can't do the multiplayer at this point, but it'd just be so cool just to think like, Dave, hop on my ship. We're gonna go to this world,
it would
or like,
dude, it would
be
1000% be awesome. And I if you gave me the old ringy ding ding and was like, yo, let's go spaceship pirating, I would be on that ship in a second. I just, you know, yeah,
that's what I
like I said, I
mean.
just think like having this much in the game is like the multiplayer is where it's actually come to like kind of bite them in the ass, because it's like you've made this amazing experience and this like so in-depth experience that it's just too much to take online. Like I could see us like jumping into this pirated ship and then we like warp speed to another galaxy and your Xbox just like fizzles and
Yeah.
like starts on fire. You're just like
Yeah.
I just can't handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It. I will say there was one other thing I was gonna say. Although elders or not Elder, what is it called? Elder Scrolls. Right? I never
yeah.
played that, so it's hard for me to remember. They started out solo only, and they ended up creating an online version, right? I never played them, so I don't know the full details of like Elder
They
Scrolls
did
in
end
general,
up
but
being able to do an online. The only thing though is
yeah.
Elder Scrolls, as in depth of a RPG as that game actually is, and how vast
Mm-hmm.
of a landscape it is, I still don't think it even comes close to what this game is going to touch.
No, definitely not. But what I'm saying is like it started out as solo. Maybe they'll make like 10 worlds are multiplayer. You can fly to these worlds.
That could work if they limit the galaxy down to a certain size for multiplayer only. I mean, that could work. I also think that like with a game like this, especially, games drop all the time and we get day one patches, we get week one patches, we get month one patches. I think this game, because it has so much going on and it has to be just such a taxing process to check every single aspect of this game. I'm thinking maybe they also just kind of like maybe they put multiplayer on the back burner because they knew that they're gonna have to do a lot of reworking on the single player experience as soon as this drops, and they might just not want to overwhelm themselves too.
And I think that to that point, I don't know if it's ever going to be a thing, but it's just what I would love to see in this game is some multiplayer. Again, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Probably not, but because like Fallout never got multiplayer. Did it?
I mean,
so.
I'm sure you're not the only one, to be honest, and like maybe you could start the movement, man. Guys,
Starfield
let us know in the comments
petition.
down below if you want to be part of the Starfield multiplayer tactical squad.
Yeah. Part of the Let's Talk Nerdy, the Let's Talk Nerdy Pirates.
That'd be sick.
I will say, so kind of going off the bugs and stuff that you're saying, the Todd Howard, so like the game developer, he said this is the Bethesda's game that has the fewest bugs of all their games. But it's one of those things I'll see it when I believe it.
I will see it when I believe it.
Yeah. With how big this game is,
especially with that launch of the last Assassin's Creed, like I need to see it. You know what I mean? Like the last Assassin's Creed.
Different developers.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
This isn't Ubisoft.
Yeah,
don't confuse Bethesda and Ubisoft.
But either way, dude. I'll believe it when I see it. So, yeah.
Right. Another thing I was going to mention that it's capped at 30 frames.
I was going to bring that up too.
Second.
What's the deal?
People are like freaking out, saying like, "Oh, it's not finished," and like developers, like, I think it's finished or it's gonna be finished. I think it's to keep it consistent.
Here's what I think happened. I think this game, as they said, was 25 years in the making or whatever. It was probably an idea for a pretty long time, but let's talk like actual development. Maybe this game has been in actual working development for like, let's say 7 years, right? Something around that time, maybe 10, who knows? Either way, I feel like this game maybe was meant to be a last gen drop, and it just took a little bit too long, like a little bit longer than they thought. And like now to have a game this size and like redo all the texturing and like redo everything for the next gen, like would just be such a ridiculously long and arduous task that they're like, in their heads they might be like, this is a last gen game, but we're just gonna drop it because like we missed the boat and we're sorry. Like, do you think that's a
I
possibility?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But like, how effective, like in my opinion, and like in your opinion, how affected are you versus 30
Not
frames
at all.
versus 60 frames? That's what I mean. I don't think it really is a big deal. Sure, maybe that was the case. It was gonna be for next gen, but they took their time. They polished it as much as they could, and it's gonna play phenomenally. Like you're never gonna have like frame drops. You know what I mean? You're never gonna have that as you should hope with 30
The,
frames per second. Yeah, I mean this game is gonna be at 30 FPS. Like, is it really gonna affect the gameplay too much? I don't think so. I think everybody's gonna love this game no matter if it's 60 frames, 30 frames. And let's be honest, people are gonna
I
play it
feel
either
like,
way.
and again, I'm ready for the comments. Go ahead and hit the comments. Um, I don't know. It's just not 60 FPS. Just isn't a big deal to me. It's just really not. And like,
I agree.
I, I'm an old school gamer. I'm the first to tell you, like, I'm an old school gamer. Like, I have a gaming PC. I never touch it. I have a PS5 that I play on a TV, like just a regular, like, it's just a TV. It's not like a gaming monitor or anything like that. So like, I don't know, that stuff doesn't really bother me as much. The thing that I kind of notice is graphics wise. So like if I'm looking at it,
Yep.
it does look like a last gen. It doesn't look like next gen to me. It doesn't mean it looks. It doesn't
I
mean that.
disagree. I disagree. I
It
think it
doesn't mean
looks
that it
good.
looks bad. But I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't look like next gen graphics to me. It looks like PS4 era. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it looks like next gen. And the biggest thing is you'll be able to play this in 4K. So it's gonna
Yeah.
look even better. So like what have you been watching it on your phone, your laptop? Have you been watching it
Yeah,
on
I've been
4K
watching it on
monitors?
4K. I think
Sure. But
I
I
don't
think it looks really good. I think it looks like 4K next gen
I don't know. I think texture
graphics.
wise, it kind of looks last gen. It's,
Yeah,
it's,
I
it's,
suppose. I guess. I
especially
don't
when
know.
you're
I don't
looking
see
at
it.
like NPC character models and stuff like that. I'm kind of like, it's
Yeah, but
kind
the
of 4Gen.
NPCs like the NPC sure. Like but the world itself, I
Yeah,
think it looks
but
really good. Like the environment, I think looks next gen. But you gotta think, like this game, like, would you rather have like insanely good environments or insanely good NPCs that really are obnoxious and annoying to talk
I
to?
mean, environments all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's probably where they put more of their emphasis, especially with like they're like really like proud of their lighting, the way they have the light hit the
Oh
world,
yeah.
and I think that's where they
Each
put
planet
most of
has
it.
its
So
own like and they've really kind of like
yeah,
focused on this like cinematic lighting. So like each planet is
right.
is lit like how it should be in the universe. And that's one thing I wanted to
Hmm.
just kind of touch on, is that they actually did. I don't know how true this is, but a lot of the research that I did, they kind of contacted NASA, like experts
Yep.
in some of these situations. So what they've done is they've obviously there's no way to prove this because we've never been anywhere outside of Mars, but they've
Yeah.
made they've made worlds that theoretically could actually exist. It's not like they just went crazy and were like, yeah,
Throwing
just
balls in space.
like, oh, let's put a 70-foot crocodile with wings on this planet. You know what I mean? Like they kind
Yeah.
of just like these things. They say that these things are going to look not
Like they
not
belong in the
familiar, but
environment.
like they belong there. And I think that's kind of cool. And,
Yep.
and, when it comes to exploration and stuff like that, like I'm a huge nerd when it comes to, I want to see every nook and cranny. I want to, find the special thing that nobody else found in the game. So like, I'm excited for it. Graphics
I'm
wise,
super
does it look a
excited.
little previous gen to me? It does. But again, like you're talking to the dude that still plays Star Fox 64. So like, do I really care? Not at all. Nothing. It
No.
means nothing to me. But I can understand why some people, this kind of like newer generation of gamer, would
Yeah.
care about 30 FPS and possibly previous gen graphics.
And to be honest, all those ones that are complaining about 60 FPS versus the 30 FPS, go back 7 years, you would never be talking about this. You know what I mean? Like, you should just be excited where the games have become versus what they were even 5 years ago. Like, it's insane on what the games have, like, the capabilities of what games can look
100%.
like
And I
nowadays.
hear this
So,
all the time. I hear this all the time with, like, obviously, my favorite game is Bloodborne. And, like, I hear this all
Right.
the time because it's a PS4 release. It's 30 frames per second. And, like, people are saying all the time, like, I can't wait for Bloodborne on 60 FPS. And I'm just like, but yeah, like I can't wait either. It's amazing, but still, like, 30 FPS is a great game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still good.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
right.
Ma-
All right. Well, like we said, this game is coming out September 6th. We're super excited. I can't wait to be a space pirate and steal sandwiches from
sick.
everybody.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I'm going to do. Sorry. One more thing I want to say on it is that I'm kind of going to the ship customization because we kind of only touched on it. It is so cool. You can build the shape to the ship to any shape you want. Like, watching the gameplay or the showcase, it was like, you can make them look like a giant mech or like different animals. I think that's really cool. So that's the only last thing I want to say about it, but super excited about this game. Comes out September 6th of this year.
Very soon.
Dave,
Very soon.
you know what that means, right?
It means
you have to get this either on PC or buying an Xbox Series X.
if they do multiplayer, or if they don't do multiplayer, then I'm just going to watch you play it. And it's going to be just as fun.
What? Why are you not going to get it on? Why would you get it on your PC? You have a beast of a computer.
I do have a beast of a computer, which
Dude, you can play with the controller. You just have to plug a controller and you're like, oh, look, it's like I'm playing on a console, but 4K all the time.
This will be my first PC game then. It's going to be exciting.
You better.
It's going to be exciting.
Play this game too.
It's going to be great.
I'm going to need your help because, like, I would be like, hey, Dave, did you do this yet? And you'd be like, no,
I'm gonna be your
played.
co-pilot. I'm
So-
gonna watch you play. I'm gonna be looking up in in the galactic manuals of where all the precious loot is. It's gonna be great.
All right. Honestly, this is probably gonna be my next game, like my next division.
I am full throttle, just ready to not talk to you for like a week after September 6th, where you're just like, you'll come out of it and be like, I have so many ships. I'm like, yep, this is exactly what I thought would happen.
So it's super excited.
Super excited.
All right.
You're super excited about that.
With that said,